Islam, Islam, Islam. I want to welcome you to another Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class. I am Dr. Torre Anu Rasul Simpson Bey. My return of the Ancient One, high name being Dr. Kepri Anubis Rasul Bey. Islam, we want to welcome you to another Egyptian Adeptus Research class. We rise and give all praises to our Father God Allah, honors to our Holy Prophet Nabi Ali, honors to everything that is Moorish, our grand national flag, emblem and seal, divine constitution of Moorish America, Islam, Islam. Our host and instructor today would be Dr. Shadu Amenti Muhajir Shepshuel, our national assistant Grand Sheikh. And today's panel or the platform will be brought forth by the Georgia God Allah territory, Islam, Islam, Islam. We'll be starting shortly. Islam, Dr. Bati Bey. I see your audio is trying to connect. Islam. Islam Moors will be starting shortly. Islam. Islam, Islam, Grand National Secretary of State, Dr. Selçuk Tutankhamen Bey. Islam, Goddess and Queen, how you be?
Islam, Islam, Islam.
Islam, Dr. Bati Bey. Islam, Grand National Secretary of State, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Islam Moorish Ken, glad to be here.
Islam, glad to have you.
Islam.
You need assistance with anything more?
Yeah, that's an answer.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Dr. Bati Bey to actually, if you want to do the prayer, that'd be fine. And of course, Grand National Secretary of State, read chapter 21, Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude.
Islam, Dr. Bati Bey.
Islam, Grand Secretary of State. I got to get my email changed. That computer's lost.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's your email right quick, more?
It's SwiftAngel187 at outlook.com. And the S capitalized, the A capitalized, and the E's capitalized on it. I don't know if that matters, but
okay. All right. I'll add it to the master email list. Gratitude. Said at SwiftAngel187 at outlook.com.
Yes.
S, A, and E capitalized.
Yep.
All right. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Islam, Islam, Islam. We want to welcome you to another Egyptian Adeptus Research alternate class, sponsored by our Moorish American government. Our host instructor today will be Dr. Shedu Amenti Muhajjab Shuel, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America. We want to give honors as well to the Georgia Consulate for providing the platform. I am Dr. Torea Nurasu Simpson Bey, and we'll be opening up the way shortly with Dr. Bati Bey, followed by myself with Dr. Bati Bey with our Moorish Adept Commission Moorish Adeptus Research Prayer. Our prayer, Islam, and also I'll be reading Divine Constitution of Moorish America, followed by our chapter of the week, read by our Grand Secretary of State, Dr. Esepsu Tutankhamen Bey, Islam. We'll be starting shortly. Islam, Dr. Gary Myers Bey, how you be, sir?
All praise be to the great God Allah, honor to our Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Islam, National Grand Assistant Chairman, Dr. Toria Noah Simpson Bey. I'm just as Moorish as ever, God, man. Gratitude for you being on your post. Islam.
Islam, gratitude you being here, grand man. Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Moorish America. Once again, we want to welcome everyone to another Egyptian Adeptus Research alternate class sponsored by Moorish American government. Today's platform will be provided by the Georgia Consulate. Islam. We'll be starting shortly with leading the way with our prayer by Dr. Bati Bey. Islam, Islam, and I'll be reading the Divine Constitution of Moorish America. And also our reading will be done by our Grand Secretary of State of Moorish America, Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. Well, at this time, Grand Man, Dr. Bati Bey, Consul General of the Iowa Territory, Islam, Grand Man, it is time to open up the way.
Islam, Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. This is Dr. Bati Bey. First, I'd like to rise, give all manner of praise to Allah, honors to the Prophet, honors to our theocratic government, our Royal Council, our flag, seal, emblem, our divine constitution, swift angels, muftis, citizens alike, honors to all the Moors here and there, honors to all those that spoke before me, all the ones that will speak after, honors to the Georgia Consulate for the platform and our teacher for this class, Dr. Shedi Amenti, Amo Hadisha Bazil. With that, I will open up the way with the comedian at that prayer. Ya Allah abnu haru, makonetaru, Ya Allah abhet haru, Ya Allah ma'at haru, Ya Allah hotep haru, Ya Allah haru, Ya Allah ma'at haru kuti, Ya Allah awajeja juti, Ya Allah pertem sutek pertem haru, Ya Allah bamaduti, al hadis sepsis rey abtu ali. Amin. Alisa, Alisa, Alisa. And that is to say, oh Allah, the Father of the universe, oh Allah, the Father of love, oh Allah, the Spirit of truth, oh Allah, the Spirit of peace, oh Allah, the Spirit of freedom, oh Allah, the Spirit of justice, oh Allah, you are my protector, oh Allah, you are my God, oh Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day, oh Allah, through your holy prophet, oh Allah, through Ali. Amen. Holy Isa, Holy Isa, Holy Isa, Islam. Like this, I would like to turn the meeting back over to our assistant chairman for his portion of the meeting. Islam.
Islam, Islam. Gratitude, Dr. Bati Bey, for opening up the way with our Moorish Commission Adept prayer. Islam, Islam, Islam. Well, I come before you with the Divine Constitution of Moorish America, salvation, our God, unity. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh. And on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the said government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folk, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their one free national name be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of the household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part in the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Jew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founder, father, and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to Act 2, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism, long live Moorish America. And at this time, I bring forth our Grand National Secretary of State, Dr. Shepsu, to come and Bay for reading the chapter of the week. Islam, Goddess and Queen.
Islam, Islam, Islam. First of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Jew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Georgia consulate for providing the forum to all of those Moors that opened up the way. Islam, chapter 21, opening address of Yehoshua with the 7 sages, 7 days silence. Ashbena said, Assyria is the land of doubt. The chariot of my people, that in which they mostly ride, is labeled doubt. Once Faith walked in Babylon, and she was bright and fair, but she was clothed in such white robes that men became afraid of her. And every wheel began to turn, and doubt made war on her and drove her from the land, and she came back no more. In form, man worships Allah, the One. In heart, they are not sure that Allah exists. Faith worships at the temple of one not seen, but doubt must see her God. The greatest needs of all Assyria is faith, a faith that seasons everything that is with certainty. And then Apollo said, the greatest needs of Greece are true conceptions of Allah, the One. Theogony in Greece is rudderless, for every thought may be a god to worship as Allah. The plane of thought is broad and full of sharp antagonists. And so the circle of the gods is filled with enmity, with wars and base intrigues. Greece needs a mastermind to stand above the gods, to raise the thoughts of men away from many gods to Allah, the One. We know the light is coming over the hills. Allah, speed the light. MATHENO'S said, "Behold this land of Egypt of the dead. Our temples long have been the tombs of hidden things of time. Our temples, crypts, and caves are dark. In light, there are no secret things. The sun reveals all hidden truth. There are no mysteries in Allah. Behold the rising sun. His beams are entering every door, yea, every crevice of the mystic crypts of Mizraim. We hail the light. All Egypt craves the light." And Philo said, "The need of Hebrew thought and life is liberty. The Hebrew prophets, seers, and givers of the law were men of power, men of holy thought, and they bequeathed to us a system of love that was ideal, one strong enough to lead our people to the goal of perfectness. But carnal minds repudiated this law of love and filled the minds with selfishness, and purity in heart became a myth. The people were enslaved. But when he comes who is to come, he will proclaim emancipation for the slaves. My people will be free. Behold, for Allah has made incarnate wisdom, love, and light, which he called Emmanuel. To him is given the key to open up the dawn. And here as man, he walked with us. And then the council chamber door was opened, and the Logos stood among the sages of the world. Again, the sages sat in silence 7 days. Islam?
Islam, Islam, Islam. Gratitude, Granddad Secretary of State, for reading the chapter of the week, chapter 21. Islam. Well, at this time, Morris Ken, without further ado, we're going to call forth our host instructor for today's Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class, our very own National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadu Amenti Muhajir Shabshuel. Islam, Swift Angel, you on the manifest?
Islamism. Can you hear me, brother?
I hear you loud and clear, my brother. Islam, the floor is yours, man.
Islam, gratitude. Islam, 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 Moorish America. Want to rise upon the seven and give all praises to the great God, Allah, Father God, Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed living manifestation and personification of everything. And I do mean everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate session, Moorish kin. And we got a grand drawing to bring to the manifest indeed. You know, we know our Moorish kin most definitely is ready to give us some grand insight today. And want to apologize to Moors, because now I think I'm gonna have to start double checking my the sessions once I send the homework assignments out. I'm gonna show you something here, because I had the brother Marvin Epplesbay reach out. This is the actual measure here. It was sent out on the 3rd. You see that? And for some reason, and look at this, watch this. I don't know what wrong got going on over here, but they need to stop it now. Look at it, look at this. This is the master email list right here. That's everybody. So why didn't it get to the people? I had to resend it. And the Moors, I think some of the Moors got it when I resent it the second time. I actually did a forwarding of it. And let me see, I think our Grand National Secretary of the State was one of the ones. Yep, right here. Yep, so Islam Moors, I don't know what wrong got going on, but you see it was sent on the 3rd, but for some reason they playing. But nevertheless, if you did get it right after I sent it again, you know, praise be to Allah. And some of the Moors probably went back to the video even, you know, to be able to go there and use that as their instructional basis as well. See, now that right there is what shows initiative. You know, so that shows that one is definitely, they're going to get it by any means necessary. So praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. And at this time, let me get out the way. And we're going to hear from our Moorish kin that have their homework and their assignment again, just to open up. You know, our assignment was dealing with becoming familiar with the hieratic language of the herein KEMET, you know, by sifting through the papyrus in the abjad sequence. And it's the same way we did it in the video, basically, how we were going letter for letter, you know, making comparatives, so to speak. And, you know, all the letters that we can find that was in line, we found a lot of accuracy in certain measures, and we also found out exactly what they are. We had the abjad sequencing. And so now we are just becoming more familiar with the alphabet, you know, Islam. So at this time, what we're going to do is open up the floor for our Moorish kin so that they can come forth and bring their measures. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Dr. Gary Miles Bay, grand man, how you be?
I'm just as Moorish as ever, God, man. All praise be to the great God Allah, honest our holy prophet, noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islam. Once again, I rise and I give praise to the almighty great God Allah. I give the highest honor to our holy prophet, noble Drew Ali. His high name, Sheikh Ehad Sharif of Drew Ali. I give high honors to the greatest forerunner ever, Marcus Mosaic Garvey L. I give high honors to our theocratic Moorish American government. I give high honors to Act 1, our divine constitution, bylaws, our government official staff, and citizens. And I also give high honors to you, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shadua Mintia Hedjit Sepsuel, for hosting our Egypt, our ERIS class. And I also give high honors to the National Grand Chairman, Dr. Toria Noah Simpson Bay, for holding the platform. And I give honors to all the Moors that helped open the class. And I give honors to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, our Moorish flag, grand emblem, grand seal, everything that is Moorish. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Divine Minister Dr. Gary Myers Bay, Apalachicola, Florida territory. And I'm gonna go to my other phone and screen share. Let's see, screen. All right. And basically, God, man, what I did, I've been just going through it a little bit and just trying to, like you say, figure out the differences. Let me find my document that I'm looking for. Let's see where I'm at. All right. I'm gonna go to my camera and basically what I did is to start off. I started off like this, and basically I went back through the ad jab and I tried to write everything out, all the letters. And after I did it like this, then basically
Your mic muted, Grandman. Gary Myers Bay, your mic's muted.
Islam, can you hear me now?
Islam, just mute one of your mics to your phone. That's all. It's the echo. Islam. If you're speaking, we can't hear you, Grandman.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Islam.
All right, gratitude. I'm sorry. I'm working with two devices at work and I'm trying to get it together. But let me go back to this document and let me see where I was.
Take your time.
I'm sorry about that, family.
It's all good, Mo.
But I basically, like I said, I went back through and basically this is what I came up with. And I basically did I wrote it out and I said sound interchangeables because basically it was the sound change. What I did, as you can see with the A, I wrote out all the different forms of the A. And we know that there's 3. And then I wrote out, along with the A, I did the I and the Y. And there was 1 I, and basically the Y was the same. And I went through a couple of those charts, and like Morris King said earlier, it was a few letters that really wasn't on certain charts. And for instance, the W, it wasn't on a few charts, but after I went through, I found it. And like I said, I just went through and wrote out all the different types of the letters. Like, as you can see for the B, I wrote 2 different B's, 3 different B's, and I also put that the B was interchangeable with the P. And I did the same for the G. And and gratitude for the documents you sent, God, man, because my confusion was the different sounds. So basically I went through and I put the different H's, because like I said, the H's was really confusing on the different sounds of the H's, and I wrote them out. And also the F and the V, we know that they're interchangeable. And the W also, when I was looking at the abjad in the place on the one abjad for the F and the V, that's usually where the W is. So I just kind of put the W there along with that. And the T and the different forms of the T, the CH, and the different shapes of the T, because, you know, I had the T like the TCH right there. And then I had that one as a TCH. And then I also have the S and the Z along with the TCH, which I know it didn't go with it, but I just put it there to remind me that sometimes the S and the Z and the T, well, the S and the Z sound alike, and I should have just put it on the S, but I also put it on the TCH. And I got the K, and then I went to the next page, and we know that the K is interchangeable with G. And there was 2 different forms of the M that I noticed. And basically, I just, like I said, I was just going through and putting whatever looked it alike and had the same sound. I basically put them all on the same line. And that's basically what I did for the sound interchange. And then when it comes to the documents, I basically went through this document, and I basically just was going through, putting out the different letters that I did see. And for that first word, though, you know, basically I came up with a B. And as you can see, the second one, I was kind of confused. But then when I kept looking at that A, and the reason why I got a question mark is because when you look at the A on one of those diagrams where they give you the abjad, there's a hook at the top of that A. And that's why I put the confusion, because I really couldn't find anything else that could go along with it. But I got B, A, and I had the S and the H, but then I knew that it was just the H. And then I did not know what that line was in between the Y or the Y or the T. And the reason why I say that was a Y is because just looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, it was a T, it was an I or a Y from what we discussed. And like I said, I just chose the Y. And basically what I did from there is I just had that one word, which is B-A-H, and I didn't know what that letter was with a Y. And basically what I did from there is I went to this document, and I had it on here where I was trying to basically put it together. I know it meant abundance. And like I said, I was going through this document, and this is off of one of the websites. Actually, I'm gonna try to go back. It was off this website right here. And like I said, I've been looking for a Hieratic dictionary, and basically I press the 1, 2, 3, the third one, and that's what gave me this document. And like I said, I wasn't looking at the symbols over here. I was just basically looking at the transliteration. And like I said, when I had it on the one page, and I was trying to screenshot it, but it really, I don't know what happened. I thought I screenshot it, but it didn't. But as I go down, and I found the B-A-H and the Y and the I, and basically it meant abundance. And I'm gonna try to find it real quick, because basically that's what I came up with. And I'm still going through it though. And like I said, because it's a lot, and I'm just trying to go through and match up the letters that I see. And these documents and these basically these websites that you give us, it helps a lot, because I say, like, one of the documents that you did send out, like I say, it pointed out all the different THCs and the CHs and different the X's and like I said, it just helped me out a lot with the pronunciation, because that's basically what's going on with me. I'm just trying to figure out how do you pronounce the words as we go, because that'll be a big help. And I'm still looking for this BA. As you can see, this document is 400-some pages, but I had it at one point, and the B's are about to come up right after the W's, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, Morris Ken. Like I said, I had it on here. I thought I screenshot it, but obviously I didn't, because it's not in my pictures. And there's the B's, and there's the, let me see, it was BA, Y. And like I said, I seen where it said abundance. And that's basically what I was thinking that word could be. And let me keep going. It's coming up. Should be coming up real soon. BAH. There it is. All right. And BAH. There's the BAH. And then as you can see right here, the BHI. And like we said, I know the I and the Y is interchangeable. So that's basically what I came up with. And it means abundance, to be well supplied. And basically that's what I got, man, for this class. And gratitude for letting me speak. And I'm at work, but whatever I miss, I will be getting back on the playback and looking at what all my Moorish King put on here. So gratitude for letting me speak, God, man. And peace and love to all my Moorish King here, there, everywhere. Shalom.
Islam, and gratitude for the drawing, brother. We give honors to you for everything you put together. You know, we don't want to put the cart before the horse, you know, when it comes to dealing with the actual aspects of the measures, because that was dealing with the script. And we're going to show you how to transliterate that in a little bit. And the main thing is what you did in the beginning, is basically putting everything in order and identifying the letters. You know, that's the most important part right now before we get into any transliteration, you know, because what we will end up doing is where they have symbols, like you see them symbols beside what you had up there, we going, how they transcribe, you know, the Hieratic into those symbols, we gonna convert them symbols back to the Hieratic language. You see, and that's where we will, there is no Hieratic dictionary out there that is complete. You know, just like it ain't no Demotic dictionary out there that's complete. You know, they're only fragmented different lessons that are out there. And that's why you won't find that until we do it. That's the whole purpose of us doing what we're doing right now. So we can compile that in special mentions. Like I say, the letters that's on the side, you know, yeah, the rules are right as far as dealing with the sound aspect too, by the way. But the letters that are on the side, they try to put it there. Those are not letters. Those are symbols. You see, that's the hieroglyphics. So what we are going to do, we're going to convert that back to the actual alphabet. You see, and remove, in other words, we're going to uncover the falsehood, you know, and make the truth manifest. And this way, we will actually be able to see the actual Hieratic script by our own hands of what the paper will look like, you know, before they converted them into symbols. So that's going to be probably our next phase. We just want our people to get familiar with the symbols, which you put them there and group them out. And this is the way you do it, by writing, you know, and going letter by letter, just looking through the paper. It sharpens the eye and it embeds it in the mind, you know. So when you see these things, you know, oh, that's an A, that's a B. And that's what gives you the ability to begin transliterate. So we're moving step by step, you know. So Islam, brother, for the drawing, though. Gratitude for that measure. Good job on the chart and putting everything together. Okay, we see our sister Kurtabe. She got her hand up like, here I go. I'm over. Islam, God is
Islam.
You know how you lean all the way over to the side.
I know, right? Islam, Pepe, I tell you, Islam, I really did enjoy this. But first, let me rise and give praises to the great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act One. I give honors to all my government officials, and I give honors to you, Dr. Shahid, for this wonderful class this morning. And what I want to do, family, is I did kind of similar to the God man, and I can share my screen. What did it? Yeah, what did let me see. Y'all bear with me because I'm still learning this. Can y'all see anything more? I didn't hit the share screen.
Not yet, goddess.
Oh, okay, no. Sure. No, I didn't hit the, if I close this, would it put it out? Okay, I need to get back to the meeting because I didn't share my screen. Go to where you, what the face is. Click it. Okay, bear with me, family. You know, I'm still learning this. Where's the share screen? Okay, there you go. Oh, okay. Islam. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. And where is my number icon? Close it. Okay. Islam family, okay. This is what I did. I didn't write I wrote you know, this is the abjad. What I did is went through that went through the script, Dr. Shaheed, what you had sent out, and I just went through it similar to the God man before me. And these are all the alphabets that I found. And I just went through the first lines and kind of jotted down everything and where I found them at. That's why you see the little writing on my pages. But these are, I found the A, the B, and I couldn't remember where I saw that at, and I couldn't find it, but I'm gonna find it because I know I saw that. That was a B2 in one of the slides that you sent. And I saw this H, I saw this X in the script. I saw the TH, and where I saw the if you had one of these little letters, that was the I. But if you had two other letters, I call them a little F, look like a little F, that meant that was a Y. And I also saw this in one of the scripts that, I mean, one of the attachments that you had sent out. And of course, we recognized the M, and I saw this as an N, and I saw this as a S in the script. I saw the P, and I saw the T, and I was going to ask a question about it looks similar to the R. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute. And then I saw this as a R, and also I saw the S in the Z right here with the little hook, and then like the little two humps. And then I saw this, and I was trying to figure that one out, and it looked to me like a M, the M and the B, but and that's on. I couldn't remember where I saw it at, but that looked like a MB, the MT, because it was, to me it was like two letters together, and I call it the bilateral because that means the two. And I'm gonna pull this up, and yeah, and then this was the like I didn't know what this was until the God man had said it, and and I went over here. Of course, like he was saying, I didn't know what that was, but I had the M right here, and I went on over, and I saw this as the little four what I showed you earlier, and I was calling it a B. Yeah, it looked like the B, and then the M right here, the M. I thought both of them was M's, and of course the A. This little thing right here, I say that looks similar to the X in one of the and it looked like the lowercase x. And I'm not so swift with this thing, but if I can go to them different charts, I can pull it up. But it was the X, and it was on the slide that you had sent out. But I say that was the X, and this right here, that was a T. That was a T, and then went on down. Right here, I thought that was the N, and I thought I had me a little words spelled out, but that was the N, and I said that this was the R A. R A, and then I didn't know what that was. And if I had these two right, I figured cause there it is again. And I say, well, if that's an N, if that's an N up there, but see, it's got that dot up there. So I had to put a question mark by that one. And then also this down here, it looked like a 6. What did I say that was? That's we said that was the H. We said that was the H, and and it was a couple of more in here, but I should have marked them on here, but I didn't. And let me see if I can pull my. Let me see. I'll put an email up. Pull my email up, and I'll show you who I got all of these at. And bear with me, family. Yeah, we had storms down here, so this thing moving a little slow. It just left out. So I would just stroll in here. One minute, family. Oh yeah, right here. This is where I got a lot of my alphabets from. Like I said, that when you had a single, that's the I, and then that's what I thought that little looked like a 6. What I just showed y'all, that was the H with the line up on it, and this little hook, that was the S. I saw that in the script, and this was the T in the CH. That was in there. I saw that a couple of times, and I started to just count how many it was, but I didn't know if I needed to do all that. So, but it was a lot of them, and you're right, Dr. Shahi. When I figure out what one is, then I go through the script and look at it. They kind of jump out at you, and I know I kind of know what they are. So, and I think there's I think that's all I want to say right now. And you know, yeah, on this one, that was the Z. I saw that in there, and the T, and oh yeah, and then this it was a lowercase t. I saw that in there in the script also as I was looking, but it was kind of hard for me to write, you know, to point to it, who is that, and then if I mark over it, then it would kind of mess the letter up. So, but I saw I saw these in that script, what we had, and I think I'm gonna stop right there. Because I'm getting a little bit nervous, but these are all the things that I saw, and I matched them up with the charts that you had, the information that you had sent out. And gratitude for letting me share, family. Islam. Yeah.
And Islamism, good job, sis. You know, and that's exactly the measure. It ain't nothing wrong with taking that chart and doing the comparative analyzation, so to speak, you know. And so that's the whole key, going back to the charts, using the charts, you know, and being able to isolate those letters, you know, and also being able to see, you know, how many different variations certain people brought forth. And again, these things will impress certain measures, because really, a lot of time when you see certain letters, it's really dealing with another form of the letter, whether it is in what they would call the capital A or the lowercase a or the silent a, you know what I mean? You know, some of that stuff applies to some of these measures here.
And
So
Dr. Shahi,
we'll get into the rules. Islam?
yeah, and I finally got my book, the other book by Dr. Mustafa, and I was reading in there because I wondered why some of the alphabets they look almost alike, but you could tell a little bit different. And then when I was reading in his book, he was saying that the reason that was like that, say like if the scribe, if they wrote the alphabet, he said they kind of like made it more rounder. And I'm not so savvy with this computer, but if I could, I would go back to that and show you some of the letters. They kind of looked like they was round. So that particular script made me think, and I don't know how would I find out about it, that we are going by, that it might have been written by the scribes because of the way the letters were shaped. I don't know, that might be a long shot. But anyway, I know he did say that different ones, like the scribes, they kind of rounded their letters, and it was almost like they was more professional at doing it. And then with some of the letters, when you dealing with the heretic, he say I guess just regular people would do the writing. It would be a little bit different, but not that different, but it was evident that you could see it. And so that really helped me too, because I couldn't figure out why they all didn't look alike, you know. So Islam.
Yeah, which book you referring to, sis? Just for clarity.
The Mustafa, Mustafa Ghatala, the Ancient Egyptian Universal Writing Code. You had told us to get that one.
Yeah, okay, Islam, right?
Yeah.
No, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I didn't have that one. I didn't have that one, and it just came last Thursday. So, but I didn't already have it. I had the other one that he had written. I didn't have this one, so I had to go get this one. And it's really helping me to understand more better too, as I read it and study it along with doing these alphabets.
Islam, yeah, most definitely. And yeah, most of the scribes, you know, they wrote in a more elite way of writing. Basically, the only difference is that their style, you know, was more elaborate because they could do it that way, you know, and the other people, they had a box style. So what it is simply, everybody don't write the same. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if I were to write in cursive and you write in cursive, it's not going to be the same.
Right.
That's why we can see, like, even Prophet Noble Drew Ali's signature. If you look at the documents where he wrote his name, it was the same way every time. You know what I mean? Because that was his style of writing. It may have been a little bigger or smaller here and there, or whatever, but the style of the writing never changed.
Right.
So when you get different people writing, it's never going to really be the same. That's why I was telling the people, even when they look at the images that are in stone, you know, those images wasn't carved, you know, because they were too perfect, you know, meaning that the same exact image is placed in countless different monuments. And we basically let our Moorish kin know that the way they was able to do this, which our sister Sheps, who was talking about us doing this, you know, from an economical standpoint, they were creating basically like wooden stampings, you know, like you carve out, you know, whatever glyph it is, you know, carve out the animal, carve out whatever it is. And then once you got wet mud there, that's on the wall, you just stamp it in the wall.
Oh.
And then you continue to stamp and you continue to stamp. That's how they put them glyphs up there. And then they later on added color to it.
Oh.
Reason we know this because I seen pictures of certain temples where the plaster had fallen off the wall, you know, or the top coat had fallen off the wall, so to speak.
Okay.
And it was broken, everything. So we know that this was an extra layer that was added to the stone.
Oh.
You know, and not just carved in the stone.
Right.
You see? And most of the time when you see certain things that have certain things on them, you will see places where people tried to maybe attempt a carving, but you will see how rugged and jagged that particular image looks. It don't look like those images that are perfect. And as time went along, the Ptolemies, learning from the Egyptians, they began to add their own symbols in, you know, what they like to call hieroglyphics. And then they end up making them more refined or whatever the case may be. But this was still the Egyptians that was doing this, that was working under the Ptolemies.
Right.
And so that's why, just like now that we have the technology and the knowledge, right now, if we were to use a CAD program, you know, and the CAD is dealing with computer animated designs. You know, a lot of houses are built with CAD. You can build anything with CAD.
Oh.
You know, if you're a jeweler and you want to create molds, you can put it in the CAD machine and it print it out. You know, that's basically, you know, how, I mean, even cars now, they're not being demonstrated by human beings. They have a CAD, you know, machine that deal with assemblies that put them together. So one could use the same type of technology. And just say if one were to cast a mold, you know, with the Egyptian hieroglyphics in it, as they call it, the hieratic, you know, the demotic or whatever. If we were to do this, you know, you can cast that into a wax mold and then cast it like a sheet of metal, but maybe some type of alloy. And then that would actually have the same exact symbol. You know, in the way that you have it in the wax mode. That would be kind of cheating because you wouldn't be doing it by hand. The computer would be doing it for you. You know, but if we wanted to do it ourselves, the older way, you know, you take wood and then the carving aspect will come into carving that wood out. You know, making the artwork come into play to where you want it, just like you do. And then you stamp that demonstration, you know, in whatever it is you know you're trying to make. And then that's the way that was done. I just wanted to add that, but we give honors to you, Goddess and Queen, for what you brought on the manifest.
And what you say that machine is? You say the CAD? How you spell it?
Yeah, it's computer animated design.
Oh, computer animated.
Yeah, computer animated designing. And yeah, they like you can get small CAD machine for like $3,000-4,000. You know, some even lower than that. You know. Yeah, but CAD is basically, you literally had people, you can print anything with it. It's like a printer, but it just runs its course maybe in a day's time. It'll build anything up, you know, in that wax mode.
That's
Again,
interesting.
the wax mode you use to create what you're trying to create. Islam.
Oh, Islam. That's interesting. I didn't know. I should have known we had it was something out there because with this technology, you can do everything. Islam.
Oh yeah, like I said, they building houses and cars with CAD. So what that tell you?
Islam. Gratitude.
What they call a modular home, most modular homes come from CAD machine.
Wow.
Islam. So gratitude, sis. All right. Beloved brother, Tara and Pooh. Come on forth, grand man.
Islam, Islam,
Bati Bay.
Islam. First, praise, Islam. Praise and honor is previously given. I'm gonna go to share screen. Okay, here we go. All right, and so in this one right here is where I put the hieratic next to the demotic, and I just went down the list and so seeing that some of these don't actually, like the brother said, they don't compute to demotic. They didn't even have them, or you look at her, which I don't. It's not that I don't think they didn't have them. It's just that they may be under a Hieratic, or they may be in one of the other languages, and I'm starting to see that all of them are everything's the same. It's just that their variation of it, and they have to go through and then pull it all to get the th sound, the x and the kh, and the ones the ein, which is this symbol right in here. I believe that's that symbol ein. But going through here and doing that, so this is about as far as I got on this. I just got this document this morning because I told you my email changed, and so when I went to this right here, so I'm gonna try to change this up. Hold on. If I could get this one. Okay, now this is where I went and I started taking those this lettering, and I started going up in here into the hieratic, and actually went to the hieratic, and I actually wrote this down. So just to start seeing that if it pops out and seeing the translation on it. So I highlighted a portion, and I was just gonna try to go through this whole thing just to see it. But some of the translations, like, let me see if I could pull this one thing up. This is one that I couldn't find a real translation for that that symbol. And then when I seen this 2 like or Z, it looks like a 2 with the with that symbol on top of it. I couldn't find that symbol, but what I have is for this would probably be a Y right here because it has the double double abjad for the I believe. Let me see if I can, which I was going to I was coming off of this one. This is the demotic translation. So new. All right, what did I see? All right. And so when I went for the I, could have been an E though too. If I'm now looking at it, that could have been an E very well. This was the E right here. This looks like the F. This one right here. That one is the one I couldn't translate. This I have as the SH. the SH sound, that kind of looks like that to me with the R. So that's probably, it could be, that's part, I think when it's stacked on top of like that, that's expressing one word right there. Well, should have wrote this down. This is the H if I'm looking at it. No, this would be the H right here. Right here. This would be the I. This one right here, with the line in it. I couldn't find the translation for this. I went to the Hieratic, Demotic, to try to see if I could find the translation for this one right here, and I couldn't. I wasn't able to discover it. So then I went to this one, which was, I believe that was the M. This was the M right here. And then you had the, that's the Y. What up? Let me see this again. And that symbol, but this one was the opposite way. You see that one that I showed I couldn't locate, but this one was the opposite way. So I didn't know if that meant like it was a capital, and if you turned it backwards, that was a lowercase or something like that. But that's what was just going through my thought process right there. Why was it? Why? So yeah, that's actually this one would be under this one would be an F. This sign, this symbol right here be actually F, and then you see this is as a T. It's that's in a demotic. That would be a T. And that's pretty much what I went through to break down. And I think when I went over this, it looked like a G, cursive G in the Hieratic. Might have been a cursive G in Hieratic. But yeah, I was trying to familiarize myself. Other thing I was going to say is if we can isolate the alphabet, they got this program called Access, which allows you to create a database, and you would put every single one of these in a kind of like a Excel form, and you can isolate them and then give the different variations of it, and you can and it will pull queries or reports to where we would know what it would translate to. So to make the translation of the demotic dictionary that much faster and quicker, we would just have to figure out how to isolate these, the symbolism and the alphabet from the other ones that we have on there. I did a book, one with the books I wanted to buy, so it's not that hard. It's just trying to get it all in here. But that was my next that was my information on this. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Peace and love.
Islam, gratitude, and we give honors to your measure, my brother. I see you were mixing the demotic and the Hieratic, and we want to be careful with that because they are different in their own right. Some of the alphabets are similar, but not all of them. You know, it's nothing wrong with being able to compare them, because we got a chart that actually has a comparing beside each other right there in the Hieratic and the demotic. You know what I mean? So we want to, since we already did the demotic, stick more to the Hieratic, and then we'll get, like I was telling the brother, we don't want to put the cart before the horse. We'll get to the transliterating and translation, you know, because if you try to do that now, it ain't gonna do nothing but throw you for a loop if you don't learn the actual letters. You know, you put more stress on yourself trying to do it that way. But we give honors to everything you brought forth, and also thank you for the suggestion in regards to the measure. Maybe you can work on that right there. You know it. If you create it, you govern it. So maybe you can deal with those measures, and we actually have the letters where we can isolate the letters. All you have to do is really get one of the charts we have in proper, one by one, and then you can put them in the database you're talking about. So if you can come up with that special measure, brother Islam, praise be to Allah.
Islam.
Islam. All right. Brother Marvin Edwards Bay.
Islam.
Islamism.
Gratitude. Yeah, this is Dr. Edwards Bay out of the Texas Consulate. rising, giving all praises to the great God Allah, giving highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honors to our Act One, as I give honors to all of our officials. Give honors to this class, our ears class, as well as I give honors to you, Dr. Shadu Amitiel Moheji Shepsuel, for hosting and being our instructor in this journey of into ourselves. And I give honor to everything that's Moorish, our flag, our seal, our emblem, our divine constitution, our holy Quran, our book of Ali, our 101, 102s, our exhuming of a nation. All of our divine revelations, I give honor. As well, I give honor to all those here in this class this morning. And I give honor to all those that gave their demonstrations of the lessons. I mean, they're really, each one aid and assist. You know, like Dr. Gary Myers Bay, you know, I think he's kind of advanced. You know, I mean, he's pretty good. And I think since he works, I don't work. I think that gives him more motivation. I mean, all of us. I'm not making excuses, but yeah. So I just want to give my little bit because, you know, what I mean, I don't have much. I'm still a work in progress. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Just give you my rendition of what I have. I'm gonna go here, share. Okay, now this is not what I really wanted to share. I'm gonna come back to this. This is the script that I'm thinking that we're supposed to look in. And this is, and the one to the right is the actual abjad hieratic symbols that we're supposed to be comparing. And if I can go to this particular screen here. Okay, here we are. Great. What? Is it gonna allow me to, maybe I need to go here. Okay. All right. And basically what I did was, and you see my progress is limited because it takes time to kind of try and web capture these different symbols as I, come to them. But, going from this hieratic one, I pulled, I just went from the A, the B, the G, the D, the head, the F, and the T. And of course, this particular letter here is, it have the T, and then it's got in caps in brackets the TCH. And so that's how I broke that down. So basically, I just wanted to see how many hieratic symbols of the A's I can come up with, and this is what I did. And this is one from the hieratic one. This was another script, probably from that one I was just showing. And this is that iron, as Brother Bati Bey was speaking on. And so that's just how far I got with for the A's. And this particular A right here is one of the newer ones. And it just, when I see all these different charts that's on the internet, some I think that people are making up. I can't really say, you know what I mean? But I bring them forth, just to take them into consideration. And just like the B, this is the B from the hieratic one. I just copied it and pasted it in here. And this is from that chart. I probably could go to it. I go here. Like these are the different ones that I grabbed from that. You know what I mean? You can see the B as this symbol here. I don't even know if I actually brought that over. But this is my intent, to go to the different, wherever I see the G. And this is coming from one of the scripts. I don't know whether it's this one. Yeah. Where they have this as a representation of the G, which is totally different. I mean, even though it says hieratic, it's totally different from, say, this one here. And I know I can get to this letter somewhere down here. I try to put all of them on these particular charts. It's probably on another 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 chart demonstration. I don't know what is this one. I can see if it is, it is. If not, no. So I'm just going to go back to where I was at here. So like I was saying, I'm trying to, go to the different charts and grab whatever representation of the letter that I can get and put it here and line them up. So this is my intent, but this is all as far as I've gotten thus far. It's not much, but it does take time to go into all these different things, not making an excuse. But in this this is the only F I pulled up. Some of the other brothers had more. So, just trying to go through them and then like this particular T and CH, I kind of like individually went into the T, the different T's and the Z. And as you can see in this representation, it's the Z and the S. And this is the T and the CH. So depends on how you can go into this representation and separate the T, and which would be this larger symbol, and the CH, I guess as good as mine. So anyway, so that's one thing I was doing. And as I go back to this particular chart, and I didn't write them down by hand, which I probably should have, and I probably will. I'm sure I will. You know what I mean? But when I go through this, like this is like one section is labeled 1, 5, and 10. They're like grouped together, and to me, it seemed like they got in this particular letter right here, the two T's. I truly didn't find that on any of the charts that I looked at, but I'm sure they're there. I just haven't focused or zoomed in on it to where I can identify it. You got your M right there. And this particular symbol here, it looks like it could be an M, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But I couldn't duplicate it anywhere in the alphabets. And like the A, I can go through and bring up. And this here was like, I think this was the Y, or Y with the two F's, like, and just one F's the I. I could see the different letters popping out, but I would have to either get another piece of paper or a document and then go through, and I guess I can relate them to the different sections and get all of the ones that I can identify and put them on another paper and represent each letter that I can pull out of this script. So that's just my effort that I put forth. You know what I mean? Sometimes I stay up late, and then sometimes I get sleepy. Sometimes I get hungry. Not making excuses, but this is where I be. So this is where I'm gonna leave it. This is my efforts thus far, and I'm a work in progress. And that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna stop sharing and give it back to you, God, man. No?
It's long. Gratitude, grand man. And you did a good job, Brother Marvin Evans Bay. The key is, remember your sound shifting. And this is where Mustafa Gadala is helpful at, because he actually gives you the actual alphabets in the book in relation to dealing with the sound shifting, as we showed you in another video. But remember, the K is also interchangeable with the letter G, and depending on who it is that's dealing with that chart, they bring it forth in that special way. And I'm gonna go into them documents that I just had you email me. For some reason, I don't have enough memory on my phone, and it ain't letting me get into the email from the phone. I'm gonna have to delete some things. I ain't got time to do it now. We trying to move fast. So that's why I sent them to you to send them to me, and I'm finna show some things with them. See this letter here that you had in the G area? On some charts, they would consider this a G, but it's interchangeable with the K. That's dealing with the sound shifting rules. You see what I'm saying? Just like the Z and the S. You know, here's another form of, you know, an S right here. And I'm talking about the letters though. Don't get it twisted. I'm just referring to the sound down here in the actual alphabet up here. So you see a S here with the Z sound and the S there. And so as we showed, these particular charts actually put these letters close to each other that mostly change. Like that 2T demonstration, Brother Myers Bay pointed it out as a W, and that's a real close measure right there in regards to dealing with that. That 2T drawing. You know, we seen it in a couple of different other forms, certain things that look like it, like the letter Y, you know, looks similar to it, but the letter W is the one, you know, I was really going with as far as dealing with that. But nevertheless, all it is just putting these things together. And like I said, we will find out exactly what once we begin to transliterate. You know, if we see something there and then we know that it's all set, and then it you know, the letter we thinking, just say as a letter U, you know, look like a letter T, you know, then we know, okay, this ain't right. This is all set. So this would be the proper way of categorizing this particular letter. You know, we can correct the letter because we know what the name entails. So by becoming familiar with the transliteration, we will be able to correct these minor errors along the way is what I'm getting at. You know, regardless dealing with a letter, we'll be able to see it in the transliteration. No, that ain't finna say that. No, this should be, you know, and that's how we will go about doing it, which we're gonna do some of that as we get more advanced. But what I did like that you did, when you took the charts and you put that hieratic script, the actual whole text next to the alphabet. And that's a good way where you can go back and forth, where you ain't got to go from screen and then go back to this, go. And, you know, that's a good way in the setup, the abjad, brother, you did a good job in that. You know, putting the letters beside them, you know, that's how you're going to become more familiar with, you know, this is special drawing. Now let me stop sharing briefly, and I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to let you know where these sources actually come from. I want to make sure I got the right PDF. Okay, this is the one. I just created this, Morris. Bear with me. It ain't really a measure of a fullness in the. Let me see this here. I'm gonna move this out of the way real quick. We'll put it up here at the top. Okay. So what we have here, and this is coming from a book. I bought it from Barnes and Noble. It's called the Encyclopedia of Ancient Egypt. It was $12. So we already know they're gonna put their twists and they spin on it. But nevertheless, you know, it's certain things in here we can sift through and pull a lot of things out of here. You get a history. You know, they use MATHENO'S record. That's a good thing. You know, Manetho, same individual. You know, and it goes throughout the whole history. This is like $12. About big as the Book of Fire, though, pretty good. You know, so that's definitely something to go into. So these are charts they have. And in these particular charts, for example, this individual put this as the letter M. You see, we know another letter for the letter M. So what you would do is when you put your M's there, all right, we'll put this on the side of that and we'll, you know, consider that. But we know the other M in the abjad chart is the one that we would utilize. All the rest of the letters that they use pretty much in this particular chart in hieratic is basically one and the same. You know, a lot of this is the same as what we all have. See, like they had a letter K here, that little symbol that you have for G again. See, these people use the K for that little symbol that you had on the side of this G. But notice, again, these are not in abjad order, but they in sound shift order. See, they go your Q, they go your K, they go your G. You see what I'm saying? So they put the sounds together, like they put all the T's together with the D, because the D and the T is interchangeable. See how they put all the S's in one group and they put all the H's in one group? You know, they put the N and the M next to each other because sometimes these measures are interchangeable. They put the P and the F there and the B, because they are often interchangeable. You know, even with the U and the W going in this special measure. So then when you get up here with the Ain, as we talked about, you know, Ain, we were speaking on that last night when we was talking about the Ainur. But anyway, you got the Y, and then you say the J is interchangeable with the Y, you see? Then you go up here and you have, you know, another J, which is really a Y in certain charts. Where you see in J, it's really Y. So this person chose to put J instead of Y, you know, the Latin script. And then you have the A up here, as we always see it. See, it's slightly a little different, look like a little W instead of a 2. That's their style of writing. That's all it is. But when you look at it, like we say, this is a sound shift chart. It's obvious that they put the sounds closer to each other that basically is supposed to sound, you know, similar to a certain degree of the variations in the changing, you know. So that's why you see it in that order and not abjad. We have placed it in the abjad order. And when you place it in the abjad order, or look at that abjad chart that you had next to that hieratic script, then you see, you know, the correct measures. Like I said, that abjad is very important because being that we have the chart in the abjad order, that's why I say that would be the parent chart that we use, you know, because that's one that basically was put in the manner where it wasn't tampered with. This here, we know it's not abjad order, so we know this was done later. This was done by those so-called Egyptologists who put these things in this order. They didn't create the letters. It's the order they did. And notice again, they had the symbols on the side of this demonstration. That's why I said, you know, they hid the alphabet, like Mustafa Gadala said, under these symbols. So we'll be able to go to these symbols that they put on the side of these letters, which we know are markers, and we're going to transcribe, as they did, these symbols back into the alphabet. You got me? And then you'll be able to see it in the papyrus form. So that's what I was telling our Moorish kin. And that's how we're going to build up our word dictionary. So the symbols that they have, when they put, like the brother Miles Bay had with the words beside them, you know, the different words that saying this means abundance, or that mean that, or this mean that, you know, we would take those measures and then place those measures in transliteration. And then that would basically build up the dictionary, you know, word for word. Like maybe, you know, all of us do 7 at a time, you know, and after we do those 7 at a time, we report back with it. Okay, these are ones I did. And then we add it to, you know, the dictionary that we compiled. You see what I'm saying? So praise be to Allah. Islam. But were you trying to say something, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, while I was speaking?
Islam, yeah, I was just gonna say I couldn't see like in that book, I couldn't see those other letters over to the right. But it's, oh yeah, like that. I can see them now. Okay. Gratitude.
Yeah, and Islam, gratitude. And if you look up here, you can see their dates are off. So even though you go through these things, you got to go through them with a fine-tooth comb. You know, we know Hieratic existed way before, you know, the Demotic, but the Demotic wasn't right way behind it. I'm gonna show you something else here, and we talked about this before. I'm gonna throw this out here and see what our Moorish kin. It's just a bonus draw. Can we pick this up? What script is that right there, Moorish kin?
That's isn't that hieratic?
Heretic.
Correct. That's hieratic, right?
Yes, sir.
Now what they have on the side of this here, calling it hieratic, is this. And notice they got the symbols there. You see?
Right.
And so,
right.
and then this is the expression of it. They calling this hieratic. Remember I told you they would call this hieratic, but what is that really?
That's a cursive hieroglyph.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that's the problem right there. And see, that's what I'm saying. We go through and we vet these measures, you know, and like I talked to you, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, who was talking about these symbols. here, and then they say, well, let me compare this to that right there, you know, and this is the
Right.
determinant. This is what they say. But our ancestors didn't call them that.
Right.
You know, all of that stuff was just a part of the script, or so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we just have to get outside of that westernized concept, you know, and that's what they call determinants. You see?
Okay. Yes, sir.
If we want to, we can call them indicators. And I'm just giving the example, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. That's not
You know,
bad.
but nevertheless, you know, all of it boiled down to the fact we exposing what they tried to remix. You know, so these particular measures coming from that particular book, and as you see all the different sounds here. Even though they don't have, you know, the actual hieratic beside this here, they just got these symbols up here right now. These are still the same letters that are featured here. You see what I'm saying? These letters on the side here.
Right.
These are the
That's a
same letters
transliteration.
that are featured here.
Transcription.
And they actually put the symbols on the side right here anyway, so you already know it. But that's how they hit it. So when you come over here, it's something I wanted to point out, because they got some of the sound shifts in here. See, like the I and the Y? See the W and the U that we have in our other chart? See the B? They got the P, the F, they put them all in that order close to each other. They keep everything in sound shift order. Now, let's come here. Notice how many different H's you have right here. You got H, you got H, you got KH and KH. And most of these are really part and parcel of the same family. You know, these K's and H's. So when you see certain letters and it look like KH or K, you know, you know what it is, basically. You know, and then they get all these symbols, and I'm gonna get to that in a second, as I just want to deal with the sound shifts right now. You know, so again, yeah, you see all these measures here, family. I see it in the other drawing. It's kind of bright. The light was bright on it. But nevertheless, you see what I'm getting at with these different drawings. And so what they did, this is also they're doing in their systematic burial, you know, of the alphabet. They said, okay, this is a vulture, right? We can go for that. You know, that's a vulture. You want to look at it that way. We know it's a bird, most definitely. Some people just put a bird. You know what I mean? But a lot of these signs here dealing with the definition is coming from Gardenia sign list. Then you have the papyri reed, is what they would call this. They call this the forearm. Okay, that's obvious. Some people just say arm. You know, in when they put in, you got the little chick. Oh, you got the quail chick, right? But then it goes on. You see B. And then they put foot here. Some people put a boot. You know, then they say this is stool. I would just say it's simply a square. But this is what they are saying. Some of these things are obvious. That's what it is. Okay, that's a viper, a serpent. Some people might put snake, a horned viper. You know, then you got the owl. It's obvious that that's an owl. You know, but certain things like this, they say this is water, right? This is their determination. That the Egyptians didn't say that. They didn't say that this was water. This you can actually say if you wanted to, well, I can call it, you know, divine energy if I want to. You know what I mean? A frequency, strain. I can call it, you know, that's what I'm getting at. We got to be able to step outside of the box and not be afraid to redefine this stuff that these people done come up with. The stuff that's obvious, yeah, that's what it is. We can see, but like this, they say this is a mouth here. That's their interpretation of this right here. You know, how can you basically conclusively, you know, with clarity say that this is exactly a mouth? You can only go off what they said it was. You see, it's a shape. It's just an oval shape right here to me. We can call it, you know, if we wanted to, we can call it the ring, you know, of the universe, or rings that go around the planets or whatever. I'm just giving an example. You know what I mean? if I were to go by just looking at a thing. And this here, for example, they define this as the courtyard. How do you know that that's a courtyard, Alan Gardenia? Huh? You see, but some people will actually use this and begin talking with this stuff exactly like they know. Some of these things are evident, but some of them, like these different geometrical patterns and shapes, like they call this a rope. You know what I mean? Okay, we can go for that being a twisted rope, but I can also see the DNA strand right here. You understand? Like they call this a placenta, you know, and I'm pretty sure any God woman that know what placenta look like, you know, it don't look nothing like this right here. But they got away with this for years. You see what I'm saying? And so they add certain names on it, and that's what people accepted. You know, this right here, to me, they say that this represents the belly and the tail of an animal. Come on now. Goodness gracious. You know, you got to laugh at this stuff to keep you crying. But, you know, I can say this right here is a sistrum. You know, some of your shakes, you know, the little rattlers. You know, I'm just giving the drawings, you know, baby rattler. I can put that there. You know, they say this is the bolt of the front door. How do you know that, Alan Gardenia? I don't see no strands and no ridges on the ends of these things to make that a bolt in a door. I work with nuts and bolts all the time. And I ain't talking about the one you're interjecting somebody. So they call this a folded cloth. Come on now. How do you know, I'm talking about conclusively, that this is a folded cloth outside of going on what they say? But some of the people that think they chematologists, our people too, they'll call these things, you know, and that's what it is because they said that's what it is. So the time for that measure is up, you know, and some of these things that they calling it, we ain't gonna be calling it that. We ain't gonna be referring to certain things as determinants. We're gonna use certain measures in our Moorish Holy Quran to determine what these measures are. You see? So that's a whole nother measure. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'm just going to show you, you know, the certain measures as you see them doing these things. Again here. Now, here they transliterate this as mu. And this is the only way that we can say, all right, y'all might be on to something. Remember, we was talking about this looking like the water. They said the water, and I said we can call it divine energy. Well, we know knowledge is on the manifest, we can call it a frequency span. You know, you ever heard of the celestial waters? You see, celestial waters consist of divine network of energy, so to speak. But this word mu, you know, transliterated, if we go into the dictionary, they transliterate it as water. So, okay, we can go with that to a certain degree, but we still have a greater definition to give. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to get our Moorish kin to do is think, you know, outside of the box, and not just because of, man, they put that there, so they got to be what Rome said it is. No, sir, we ain't accepting it that way. Rome ain't the end all be all, and Rome ain't always right. You know, go ahead, brother Marvin Edwards Bay.
Islam. Yes, sir. Yeah, now I'm just looking at that, what they call water, and you mentioned frequency. Yeah, that looks like a manipulated frequency. You know what I mean? When you go into electricity and electronics, you know what I mean? Because the wave sound is more of a big curve. That's a frequency. But then again, you can also make it where, you know, when you use different semiconductors, you can make it have a depiction just like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Spike.
Right,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Curve.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I can do the same thing with music. You know, over here when I'm doing music, I can take the waves and, you know, whether they be spiked or curved and do the same thing. That's why I use the term frequency strand.
Right.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
because that's what came to mind. You know, that's a good drawing, though, brother. You know, praise be to Allah. Now, you notice here they have, you know, what we would call the modern form of what they call the pictorial script. And then this again is the stick version or the cursive version. That's all you see here. That's a prime example. Now notice here, they are calling this particular expression Jepper. Now, let's just ask our Moorish kin, because this is one that some of our people may be familiar with. This is often referred to as a symbol of eternity in ancient Kemet. You see Jeper, but what have you seen this referred to in other places as?
Well, that's that beetle.
Yep, but what is the name they use for?
Oh, Kepler, you mean?
Cherub.
Kepri.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Notice how they spelled it though here.
Yeah, the J and it
Instead of
could
the
be a
K.
K.
So you see what I'm saying? This is
Yes, sir.
somebody, when they transliterated it, they didn't find the right letter. They mistaken the J that should have been the K. See
Right.
how I'm able to see this right here? Now you can see it too, because we know Kepra has always been in front of that. So
Right.
somebody done mistaken, I don't know who chart they was using when they did the transliteration, but you see the flaws there. Now, a layman or somebody that don't know no better, they'll look at that right there and won't even criticize it. You see what I'm saying? You see how we dissecting and we basically exposing these special measures?
Islam.
You see? And then look at this. Let's look at this here. They had a letter R. Remember, they were saying this represents the open mouth. Now this has a dot in the middle, which looks more like an I. These are not even two of the same symbols. You know, this right here should never be identified as this. That's the I. That's what we call the wajet, or the eye of Heru, so to speak, or the eye of Ra. Right there now. But yet and still, when you come over here, they got the mouth symbol there. So this is somebody who mistake the open mouth symbol, as they like to call it, for the eye. So you see these imperfections that we finding right here, even in, it looked good the way they put it together. Oh, the wax paper, the way they done printed it out, and all the script wrote on the side. And you got to be careful with what you're looking at.
Is
You know,
Islam?
Islam, brother.
So we could say that be a closed eye, or you know, somewhat, what do you say, a form without light. You know what I'm saying? The third eye is closed. They're not, you know what I'm saying? If the
I mean, yeah, you can look at it that way right there, because we don't have to necessarily identify that as being a mouth symbol. Yeah, the one without the dot. Yeah. I mean, you can look at it that way. You know, you can look at it. It don't have the eye, what you call the iris in it. You know, it's basically it's veil. It's veil.
Islam.
Go ahead.
You
bro.
know, just a gratitude. Thought that was big. Yeah, you know, like the more I look at these symbols, and you know, and the more we study these things, you know what I mean, I am getting a more metaphysical representation already.
There you
You know
go.
what I mean?
There you go.
I mean, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir. There you go already. And now, just by showing you that, I'm touching on that a little bit. But you was able to pick up on that. And that's why I'm saying these symbols are meant to be understood as formulas and metaphysics, as opposed to an alphabet or a language. You see what I'm saying? For example, if I were to just look at this right here, and if I were to give a interpretation of what I see right here in front of me. Okay, so we have a priestess or a priest, more look like a priestess to me. You know, and she is standing before Kepri, you know, who represents eternity. Then you have a priestess here, you know, that is receiving libation from the goddess, which represented a tree. You see, Hathor, Het Heru. You see? And so this libation that come forth often is understood to be a gift that is being given, you know, from the tree of life, you see? And so this is given to the goddess. And then you can also see a table here, you know, with offerings upon it. You also see, again, you know, this is just powerful just going into it. And we can do a whole metaphysical breakdown just on that. But this is what I see. I'm just going off what I see right now, based on the knowledge that I already have. You know what I mean? But in Mustafa Gadala's book on the metaphysics, he actually breaks some of these things down, what they mean metaphysics. Islam, Brother Marvin Evans Bay.
Oh, yes, sir. You know, like you were talking about that current, not current, but you were talking about the frequency. I mean, this is showing, to me, you know what I mean?
Oh,
This is
there
showing
it is,
like,
right there.
yeah, right there. And all of this together, I could say this is the prophet. You know what I mean? As he bring forth and bring the teachings and elevate our consciousness to where we begin to come back, you know what I mean? And receive these elevations, however you want to put it. You know what I mean? That's me. I might be stretching it, but
So
yeah.
we can basically say the goddess, let's just say it like this here. Het Heru, which actually represent love divine too. She poured forth libation, you see, into the hand, which is symbolic to the mind, you know, consciousness, divine energy, and gave it as an offering, right? An eternal offering, you see, to those who pay homage. You see how easy I was able to do that metaphysically?
Islam.
But
Yeah.
we don't need no dictionary, no alphabet, none of that to do that. You see what I'm saying? Now, as far as dealing with the cursive hieroglyphs, like we said, we're going to end up going back to dealing with conversion processes. So the same, you know how the chairman say, the only way out of the fire is through the fire? That's the same measure that we apply to this demonstration with the alphabet. The only way out of coming through our enslavement is going through the laws that enslaved us. In the same way, when it comes to this language, the only way to get back to the essence and the origin of our languages is to trace ourselves back to the source, as we have done, but also transcribe these measures back into the actual hieratic drawing. So instead of this being a cursive hieroglyph, which is richly saying to this, we would go into the hieratic. And then you have whole breakdowns in hieratic, which they don't have. You got me? They got them, but they hid them. And they came up with this stuff. You know, they can produce, you know, these papyri like this right here and make them look, you know, like they got some antiquity. I got some hanging up in my wall I brought from a Greek restaurant. You know, they Egyptian and they actually Coptics, you know, but they call themselves Greeks. You know, these Eurocentric looking individuals, but they have them in their restaurant where you can actually buy the papyri, you know, from there. Like I got one with a pharaoh in the chariot, and it looked just like the ancient document, you know, and that's what they do. Rome create them documents and throw them out there and tell you this is from this period, BC. No, it's from right here in this era and time that we in. And y'all done put a remix on it and then use papyri paper to trick the people. Goodness gracious. Boy, I tell you. And then another thing, just like this, when you find these images and they have this bright complected type of demonstration on them, that's where you know the remix done came in right there. Because if you go into the original depictions of these things and you look at them, and you see the Nubian text, it'll have the same thing here, and that want to be melanated as hell. You know what I mean? So when you see this type of stuff right here, dealing with Kemet, you know, yeah, pay attention. Yeah, because our people most definitely preserve things properly in their own right. So I just wanted to point these things out right here, and like I say, this dictionary, even though we can see truth and falsehood strangely mixed, whether intentionally or unintentionally. You know, somebody didn't do their vetting of this. It's a lot of information in here that can be found, like I said. A lot of different information. They even got certain timelines they give, but I don't really care for the Gregorian measures. So, you know, but if ones want to know these different measures that have certain timelines and all that stuff in it, going all the way back from the first dynasty, as they like to call it, up till now, because we're going to put everything in the realm of our timeline that we have, you know, according to our own calendar, which we done brought to the Moors recently. We got to do a whole breakdown on that too in due time, like as far as giving the history. And our calendar actually come from this plane sphere here that they call the dendera. And ancestors call it a dendera. And the European like to call it a zodiac. You know, the world of little animals. See, that was demonstrated in Kemet. That's in the ceiling of the temple of Heru, the goddess we was just showing you, as a matter of fact. That's the same temple that was there in Mount Sinai, you know, during the time when Moses went. That's why they talk about the golden calf, you know, because that was a symbol of Heru, the calf with the disc in the sun and the horns and so forth and so on. Same thing that you see the brother Agus Khan, you know, showing that he's a Turk, being a descendant of the ancient Egyptians, just like Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. So that sound of the horns, you know, with the sun disc in between it, that men also wore. This was a unisex headdress. You would see the men with the horns, with the sun disc, and the women with the horns and the sun disc. You know, both of them would don that special headdress, but that was the headdress of Heru, you know, and the key is understanding when you deal with Heru or Set or Sa, you know, the divinity and the eternity of the teachings has to do with that special principle living on through other people. That's why they would say, I am Sa, you know, I am Heru, I am also Set. You know, people that's listening, they'll think that don't make no sense. No, it's saying that we are a part of the all, and the all is a part of us. We are a whole, a collective. That's how you have to understand the Kemetic teachings. You can't read, you know, anything or study anything Kemetic without a holistic mind. We learn that from the unity of Allah and man. Chapter 1 in our Moorish Holy Quran. You see, so this is why we can tell you that that document is as Kemetic as ever. You know, whether people know that Noble Drew Ali taught on Egypt, yes, he did. He was the Egyptian adept in the book that he brought to our people. In a nutshell, small from the exterior look, but grand from what was placed within it. That's a powerful man. That's a powerful brother. You know, so yeah, they have a whole bunch of measures or whatever. You know, a lot of good pictures in here that can actually be, like I just sent them to our brother Marvin Edward Bay. You know, a lot of good pictures in here that can be cropped out, you know, for use. Like, you know, they refine this particular measure here. Let me see, can I show it? I got to lean it back probably. But this is actually a hieratic I'm trying to show you. It's a hieratic. I hate when we try to do this and can't do it. But anyway, it's a hieratic. It's a portion of the hieratic that they have in this particular book. Like I said, it's something to get. But see, when you read these sources now you know how to read Rome's material. You can't take everything as the end all be all. So a lot of time when I go into some of their measures, yeah, I read this stuff right here, but I ain't finna take this. I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt every time. You know what I mean? Because Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us when we get the pen in our hand, then we write this history. And I just showed you, you know, the imperfections and the, you know, the shenanigans that they demonstrate. You know, and if you go into this blind, you will go into this thinking, oh, this is it right here. Just cause the way they put it together and the way they package it. You know what I mean? This is actually a symbol of Amen, and you can see the flag here in the star, you know, there. It's a whole bunch of stuff here, boys, but I don't want to go too far left. I just wanted to point them things out. Also, too, since I had it here. Yeah, yeah, I wanted to show you. This is the measure on Hethar that I was showing you earlier. Let me see. I just had it there. See us standing there with the there you go right there. What you see it on?
You can't see it, bro. I mean, man.
Yeah, you see it now?
I don't. It's my computer doesn't malfunction.
Okay, what about now? I'm showing it.
Yeah.
I ain't showing it on the screen. I'm showing it on my I'm showing it with the book in my hand.
Oh, let me see. Let me.
Yeah, it ain't screen sharing. I'm talking about look at my
What it
screen.
is. Okay. Yeah,
There
I had minimized.
Okay, but it's fading in and out because of the backdrop, the way they do it.
Okay.
But hold on. Yeah, that's what it is. It's fading out because of the backdrop. What I can do though.
Is that in that same book?
Yeah, this is the same book.
So you got it from Barnes and Noble?
Yeah. Like I said, it was a good big size and it was a cheap buy. So
Yeah.
you know, it'd be in the
I
area
know.
over there where they have their little discounts at. They discount books. And I
Right,
also
okay.
brought another book from over there. Let me see something real quick here. Trying to get this open here. Oh, I know what's wrong. I gotta stop sharing first. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna go here real quick. Let me see. Okay, okay. All right, yeah, see that little blue screen thing I got behind me is there. So what I can do, I can put this up here now and show you what I'm talking about. See, that's Heru right there. See it with a disc?
Yes, sir. Coming to the left, right? Yes, because that's she got a face of like a cow.
Yeah, that's the symbol of Heru. That's where they
Right.
get golden calf from. The concept, because the temple is there in Mount Sinai. You know, the temple is there in Mount Sinai, and basically that's where you get it from. And I was showing you all I think I still got it up here, the Hieratic. Yeah, I think I got it up here. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see here, right here. Right here. Okay, there we go. See, there you go. I was trying to show you this. See the detail in that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's, like I say, and this is why I was showing you, that's all is really worth looking at the relics and, you know, going through, because some of this stuff, they don't even have on the internet. Like some of these pictures, you know, a lot of these pictures are very original. What I do like though, is that they do put this in here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They showing you, you know, what the people look like.
Right.
I do like that part of the demonstration.
Absolutely.
But they still got some you know, they got some truth and falsehood strains to mix up in here too. So you just got to sift through it. Like I was showing you down here, it gives the dynasty timelines and all that stuff there on the bottom here. You know, all this stuff here, you know, they give all that, and it actually goes over a few pages like that. You know, so it's a few things that are in here that are noteworthy, you know, to be used. Mainly it's the pictorial expressions that they have in here. You know, like I was telling our Moorish kin the other day, I was talking to one of our family, I was telling them that you know, dealing with the way the pyramids were built. You know, I was talking about that. you know, and giving our people a grand drawing and letting them know the original pyramids that were built, you know, they started out, you know, there was a process that gradually became a mastery in the building. They didn't even get a chance to complete the building process. You know, the Ptolemies end up putting a lot of modern temples over there as well. You know, at least they had other Egyptians that were building them for. You know, we know Ptolemy and them didn't do them themselves. It was still Kemites building them, but they was building them under duress, so to speak. So, you know, the original pyramids, you know, at the base, I tell our family all the time that they come from carvings. They were carving, you know, measures out of the mountain because this was the ancient way they did it. So what they did is they became more elaborate with their carving, and they would chip away, and they started out with step pyramids. So those step pyramids that they carved out of that mountainous structure, that's why if you go look inside the Great Pyramid, you see what somebody like they dug a whole shaft up through that particular demonstration. You see what I'm saying? But it looked rugged and jagged. If you go down, if you ever seen a cavern that bats in, you will see, you know, I would call them stone sickles at the base of them thing. That lets you know that that's something connected to the earth, which is why the pyramids still stand today, because they are part of the earth itself. Our people were master stone cutters though. And so they carved those demonstrations at layer. They found them, the ones that were directly connected with what they felt needed to be aligned with the stars. And that's what they chose to do the carving. And then the actual stuff that they had hewn from, you know, the rock layer by layer, they put this stuff, they stacked it around each layer. They stacked it. And that's why you have those stones looking as they do. They are not really perfect. You know, they're just basically different stones that are stacked upon each other in different ways. You know, but they stacked them and they came down layer by layer. And that's why you have, you know, the pyramids as you do, you know. And then later on, they start using a more modern way of the building, you know, which comes similar when you get into Nubia. You will see a new style of building pyramids. But like the bent pyramid is basically still mountainous, you know, when you look at it. But that's a whole nother measure. I just want to bring that to people. So the step pyramid was the main model that became popular. And that's why you see it across the world. You see it in China, you see it in the Americas, you see it in KEMET, you know, just everywhere. You see, Sumeria, you know, the step pyramid is the foundation. Think about it. If you build measures up in steps, then you can actually put those drawings up there and put bricks on it, layer by layer, and come all the way to the bottom, and you'll eventually have slopes, you know, that run down in a pyramidal form. So I just wanted to add that to our Moorish kin, you know, just for, you know, purposes of giving it to them. And we can also see this in Abu Simbel. You know, Mount Rushmore is nothing more than, you know, the European depiction of what Abu Simbel was, where you see the deity sitting down, you know, outside of the temple of Karnak and so forth, but you can see behind them that there's mountain that still is left and it has not been completely carved out, just like they did in the holy city of Petra. And it refers to the Sabians as being those who were able to carve their houses from mountain. It says it in the Piscean records. That's where I really got that from years ago when I was studying and I was tracing the lineage of the Moabites. And I seen that it said that they were carving, you know, these particular measures, these stone structures. And that's why they call them stone cutters. You see, which is what then the Western Freemason try to take that demonstration and say, okay, this is what a mason, stone masons come. You know, all that foolery. We trace ourselves back to that, you know, all that old, we'll say, Europeanated washed lore that they have. So nevertheless, I just wanted to point that out more. But at this time, we're going to open the floor back up for anybody that has their homework as well. Islam. Any other more would like to come forward? That's our Grand National Secretary of the State. Uh-oh.
Islam.
Islamism.
Praise Allah. Islam Moorish can first of all want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our ears class this afternoon, and giving honor to Act One, and also to all of my Moorish kin that brought forth their measures, and giving honor to our host, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohedded Shepsuel. This has been a grand class, Dr. Shahid. I'm going to share my screen, and I tell you, I was one of the ones that was using the video from last class and trying to pull out that script that you were going over. So I wasn't able to get the full script. It's the same one that Dr. Edwards Bay used. So I had like a top half, maybe 1 through 10, and then the bottom portion, 10 through 20. And let me just share my screen briefly. And much gratitude for sending the email in reference to the various scripts in lesson 1. So what I did was, so I took the template from the Hieratic, Abjad, and the German. I took that a special template. This is where I was pulling from. All right, now see, I tell you this, bear with me with this computer. I tell you, because I was pulling things out from, pulling the letters out from that script, and then they would disappear on me again. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad I went over this before I got to class to make sure I'd have these things already pulled up. So I used the two that Dr. Edwards Bay used, that hieratic script and the alphabets. And I'm going to pull out the letter H. Hold on, let me get it. And what I did was I did a screenshot. This is the letter H. And from the handwritten chart that I had already done, I just went and highlighted everything that I saw that looked like an H. All right, so, you know, we have that symbol there. We've got the, what I call the candlestick with the little fire on top. This one here that looks like what they just called the courthouse that you pointed out, Dr. Shahid. And I just, that sick looking one that was turned around. And so I pulled out all of the H's that I had compiled from the different scripts last time, from about 4 different charts. I just pulled out all of the H's. Now this was the top half of that script. Okay, and then this is the bottom half of the script. Just blow this up. Of that same script, where I continued on highlighting every H. And what I did was go from right to left, you know, every line. And the more I got into, because I did the letters A, B, G, D, H, W, Z, and S. And in the same fashion. And everything going from right to left that I saw, according to my chart of all the H's, I just highlighted it. Okay. Now, the next one, the next 2 sets were the Z and the S. Which again, and much gratitude to you for the sound demonstration, how they group the letters together. We were speaking about that upside down U that I like to call it, you know, and I just, again, this one at the bottom that had the 2 strikes in the middle, which is similar to what the N looks like, the N at the top and then at bottom. And I just went through and highlighted everything that looked like Z or S, since they were sounds, you know, and they could be transcribed to one or the other. Now that was the top half of this special chart. And this is the last one, the second half. And this is the bottom half of that particular script. I just went, and as I went through each letter, I tell you, I got quicker in being able to go from right to left, because I had, okay, I took like 2 letters at a time. Let me run through this right to left, line by line, and see what do I see of these 2 letters. And then, okay, if I had another 2 set of the Z and the S, start back at the top, go right to left. And I tell you, by the time I got to the 4th or 5th time going through this, then I was able to go through quicker, because it was already etched in. What symbols am I looking for? Highlight it and move on, you know. So, but it took me a while to be able to, first off, pull it from the video. I was like, I'm getting this, because I'm not waiting till no Sunday midnight to 3 a.m., you know, I'm doing it through the week. So, and in order for it to stay, because I saved it to the computer, but like I said, it was issues when I was trying to pull it up this morning. They act like they wanted to disappear on me. So I said, okay, we're not going there. We are not going there. So I just did it this is special manner. But this is as far as my homework was concerned, but it was a very good tool to be able to go in there and actually see the accomplishment of being able to pull out what looks like the letters that we had already previously done the research on. And gratitude, Dr. Shahi, for sending those various websites, because like I said, I have what I did handwritten, and I had pulled this out, you know, last class. But anyway, I've got like construction paper going through the ab-jab order, and every of the 4 or 5 charts that I looked through, compiling all of the H's or all of the W's or what have you, then that made it easier for me to now go back to this script and go from what I hand wrote as far as the research from the different hieratic letters, and then I'll just go back and find it, you know. So that's my measure. Like I said, I did about 7 of the ab-jab in that particular order, and I want to go back and finish it. And I didn't even think, wasn't even going to deal with the PowerPoint, you know, because I was just basically trying to get that and have a manner that was presentable, that was easy for me to demonstrate. So gratitude, that's my measure. Peace and love. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Islam and gratitude, Grand National Secretary of State. That indeed was a grand drawing, Goddess and Queen, because that's exactly what we were talking about right there. And like I said, you see how it makes it familiar just by taking that one page and just looking at the particular alphabets, you know, and you can do it in abjad order if you want to. And you do that repetitiously, just pulling up random documents. Now you can use that same methodology. Just go pull up a hieratic papyrus and say, all right, this is my challenge. I know that this may be written a little differently based upon the style of the writer, but can I identify, can I pinpoint these letters in this document? You know, and that's the best way to really learn it and impress it in the memory without trying to just go and systematically remember it for recitation purposes. You just go and just pull up different scripts, use your abjad chart, you know, like the one Marvin Edwards Bey had, or, you know, the ones that we all have, and then you go through it. sift through it and you're gonna become familiar. Like I was looking at the chart just then, and like letters was literally jumping out at me. You know, like I was looking at it, I see the letter L, I seen the letter S, I could see the letter Y. I'm talking about as I was just looking at the measure, I wasn't trying to transliterate nothing, but this stuff was literally jumping out at me based upon how we have been going over it. You know, so that's why I tell our family, you know, rather than getting so caught up on, you know, looking at the language and being intimidated by the way it's rolled or how it's bunched up and all that, you know, just go letter by letter, alphabet by alphabet. And then these things will become more familiar to us. And this has really been a grand class today so far, man. I enjoyed this one right here. I'm pretty sure our Morris Ken enjoyed it. But I got another bonus here and another key to bring forth that came forth as you was demonstrating the letter S and the letter H that I will add on as well. And I don't need to share my screen, but what I will do, I'm gonna stop the background so it won't keep my little book I'm finna show you. And this is coming from the Egyptian writing modes. I want to show you something here. Check this out. We can use the abjads if you want to in comparison, you know, even though this is a different script, but Mustafa Gadala actually shows you the changes in the alphabet. Look at that letter H and the letter E. So you will see hey and A, you know, these are sound shifting right here, right? The E and the H. But look at, you see it's the same way, Sister Shepsu. This one right here, that's definitely the Kemetic, the Hieratic H right there. Both of them. Islam. That's it right there. And so you can see it actually carried over to both of these letters. The E, when it comes to the way we see it now, it still looks similar. They just took a portion of it off. Then the H right here, they took the top bar and the low top, you know, the high bar and the low bar, I would say. And then they left, you know, this drawing over here. So you can actually see still, are they cut, you can look at this as being cut in half too, like they have down here. You know, it still evolves out of the symbol. So the letter E and the letter H can be traced directly back to the hieratic language. That just came to me as we was building just then. Let me show you something else too, because they got all the sound shifts here too as well with these different letters. If you look over here, he goes through all the sound shifts. Remember I was showing you the Q, the K, and the GH, and he does that here. And this is actually on page 133 in this particular area. But let me show you something else here. The letter S. All of us that have seen the Demotic letter S, the Arabic letter S, you know, the hieratic letter S, yeah, we can see that. Even right here, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Just by looking at this here, I'm gonna tell you what this right here is. This is the S, or the SH rather, that comes from what we call Proto-Sinaitic, Proto-Canaanite. If you ever seen the chart where I put up there Ish and Isha, and I have the fence, you know, this is the fence symbol that's represented there. I'll put it up in a second. This is going into the hieratic and demotic, these particular areas here. You know, but this is also the same symbol that also became the goes into the Coptic when you get down here, the Hecopter. This particular symbol here, just a different writing. So I can see this and actually see the scripts that they come from and they evolve through. You know, so that's a powerful demonstration in and of itself as well. And see it is, there it go right there. See, that's the sh sound. Now pull up, you know, for example, the Arabic letter shin, you know, or any other letter and watch what it comes up to. Pull up, you know, the hieratic or the Coptic and watch what symbol comes up. So we can actually, in the process of going through our abjad, you can actually use these particular measures since he has so many variations of these measures, like the letter A. We don't see the letter A as we normally see it, but we do know that there's a straight line A. That's also represents, that's the same A that carries all the way over into the Arabic. You see what I'm saying? And we can see the Demotic A in there as well. I mean, just like the letter D, we can see that the letter D in what we call the Latin script or the English script. When you look at that, that goes all the way back to the T and the D in the Demotic language. You see what I'm saying? But it comes all the way up into this language. Like I say, these are things that's just jumping out at me right now, you know, and so yeah, all of that, this is your best companion here, Moors, when it comes to understanding the nature of the sound shifting and the different letters and the variations of the letters. So, you know, use this, you know, as well. Don't be afraid to use the Egyptian writing modes, you know, to go letter by letter in your comparison, you know. So I just wanted to give that to you, but this actually comes from the actual script that Mustafa Gadala is drawing from. He's drawing from the script that deal with more that is close to the Iberian script, the Iberic script, which is also known as Egyptian, which is also known as Phoenician, which is also known as Punic. That's why I say that particular language is the universal, you know, measure. Matter of fact, let me show it to you because he got it right here. We're gonna go into that, you know. Let me see, here it go right here. This particular script right here. That's the one that I said is, you know, pretty much every nation has this script, you know, ancient nation anyway, you know, so, and that's page 308 right there, you know, so that's a whole nother script outside of what we know as hieratic and demotic, you know, that can be considered part and parcel of the Ray in KEMET, you know, and they actually have it here. He have it here, prehistoric Iberia, you know, written on the book. You know, in the Iberian Peninsula is where the recat structure was found, the city of Atlantis. This is where they found the oldest man, you know, the Jabiru, who 350,000 years ago, to date, the oldest human. You know, this is where Atlantis was said to be. And this is also the script that's there. And if you look at this script and you've seen the emerald tablets of Tehuti, it's basically the Iberic script. You see what I'm saying? So you see how, you know, just tracing the language alone, we are able to see, man, this is powerful. You know, this is a powerful measure. So gratitude, boys. That's just wanted to add that on, but yeah, use the Egyptian writing modes to get an understanding of your sound shifts, because they will show you exactly what letters, you know, can be grouped together, even though you know it by the charts now. Because remember that. And this is the terminology we're using. You ain't gonna see the European using this terminology we use. You have the Abjad chart, which is showing you the correction. This is the DNA that connects all languages. You know, they came up with that concept, Afro-Asiatic. We showed you that in our previous videos. You know, but when it comes to the mother tongue, that's the terminology we use. You know, the parent is abjad. And then you have your sound shift charts that were created, you know, and it's the same thing in Arabic. What is not in abjad is really a sound shifting, you know, pronunciation chart, same way the Europeans tried to do it, you know, with the hieratic and the demotic and so forth and so on. So this is a powerful measurement. Is there any other more who would like to come forth with their homework, you know, in regards to dealing with this session? Well, okay, all right. Well, is there more that would like to bring forth a measure in regards to dealing with what it is that we have brought forth in this special session? All right.
Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I thought Grant was that's Secretary of State. Was she coming forth?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she was. You was trying to come forth, Goddess and Queen.
Islam, gratitude. Yeah, just briefly, having already risen, giving praise and honor where due. I again want to give much honor to every Moore in the class for bringing forth their special measure for being here. And also to you, Dr. Shahi, because every time I go through these classes, I'm receiving more and more revelations. It's becoming a little bit easier. You know how they say you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's very exciting to be able to have direct course to follow, as we, for me, it's, constantly removing veils off the eyes, and a key that you brought forth in reference to what Rome says is not the end all be all nothing. You just have to, when you go through these various books, having the foundation from the prophet and what is brought forth in our classes, use that to be able to determine ought from naught, and take it from there. And in the research, by us going, step by step, then that helps build the foundation so that we can go into any document and be able to determine. And like Dr. Edwards Bay and how you were bringing out, we can see how the chapter dealing with Yehoshua, okay, go in here and determine what you see on the walls, and that's opening up the higher realms in reference to being able to have that confidence and trust in the Hierophant within yourself, that there's nothing new under the sun. We already been here. All we've got to do is just re-tap into that consciousness, because this is ours. This is our language. And to me, just seeing the various things going through Ptolemy and things of that nature, I was just getting a mix between them trying to put their spin on it and remix, and also the flip side of that, burying it so that those coming behind could not find their way back, and we just, but see, again, that time has been declared out. So gratitude more for bringing these keys forth, and also to my Moorish kin for these grand measures. Peace and love.
In Islamism, we give honor to you, Grand National Secretary of the State. That's a powerful measure. And a lot of people don't know that even when you go into the realm of the teachings of al-Islam, we brought out the measure where the great God Allah says, know me before you worship me. And it's a sin to actually not seek knowledge. People don't know that. I'm talking about this is really obligatory for even the so-called quote unquote Muslim. But there's another powerful measure that was made, and it came up when you were speaking, Grand National Secretary of the State, where I remember reading one time where it states that the sin of Adam is that he forgot. So that takes me back to who made you. That takes me back to the book of Allah's registry of remembrance. And this is why we know the actions of the soul of thinking, willing, reason, understanding, and remembrance. So when we lose touch with reality, being able to tap in, as you said, Grand National Secretary of the State, this is the greatest sin. This is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. He came to uplift us from our sinful ways, redeem us from our sinful ways. And it all had to do with forgetting that we was one with God, forgetting that we were the higher self as opposed to the lower self, forgetting, everything that is good for us to go into the directions that are not so good for us. So that's what he said. He said, Allah's main measure, of contention with Adam is that he forgot. You see, this is how he slipped from the guard, when he forgot the source. So I just wanted to add that in, so gratitude, powerful measure. And all right, Brother Edwards Bay, what you got, Grand Man?
Gratitude, Grand National Assistant National Assistant Grand Sheik of Moorish America, our Hierophant, our adept instructor. I mean, praise Allah, honor to his prophet, and honor to everything that's Moorish. I mean, it's really a beautiful day. When the prophet said it's a new era in time, I mean, we can see it unfolding here, right here in our ears class. You know, our Grand National Secretary of the State, I mean, she is a star pupil, I think, here in this class, because she has some, I mean, when the way she took that chart, I mean, that script, and highlighted the different letters, you know what I mean, within it. I mean, it simplified it, you know what I mean, to the utmost. And I can appreciate it. And just like all of the other Moors, you know what I mean, where they bringing forth from where they was coming from, you know what I mean, just added on, you know what I mean, you know, building this temple of perfected man, you know what I mean, raising our consciousness to recognize who we really are. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing. And I know I got my work cut out for me, you know what I mean? Because we all have our own garden and we all have things we need to do on that part, you know. And so I just can say I'm just grateful for being a part, and I will continue to study the self and unfold. Gratitude for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
And gratitude for the measure, brother. We give honors to you. Yes, sir. You know, the Grand National Secretary of the State definitely set that demonstration on fire. You know, and what happened is we are actually building great pyramids every time we come into this class. Because each and every one of the Moors that's bringing their measure actually bringing forth a drawing that has to do with the whole of what we're talking about, like you were saying. You know, and so these represent the stones, you know, of the building process. You know, so when the Moors build and we get to the pinnacle, by the time it's over, you know, it's a grand drawing that we done demonstrated. And the key is what it boiled down to, what gives us our strength is drawing from the source. And when we come into the consciousness of our purpose, and this is what we understand, you know, what our mission is, you know, and I give honors to our Grand National Chairman, Dr. Akin Pert M. Heru, for allowing me, you know, to sit at the feet of his instruction, you know, and be able to recognize my purpose. You see what I'm saying? His purpose as Elihu was to bring forth the lessons, and he have done it and continue to do it well. You know, that's exactly in the sacred grove. You know, so after, you know, he conferred these measures upon us, like, you know, the swift angel degree, you know, and he would encourage myself in many different occasions. I remember being in Baltimore, you know, and he was encouraging one, you know, about the demonstration of the KEMET adept, the Hieratic degree. And that's why we come forth with that. That ain't something we claim, that's something that unfolded. And so I say, well, then if I'm gonna fulfill a portion of the book, because that's what we should be trying to do, demonstrate the Moorish Holy Quran and find our purpose in the book, then what better way to go and then be right there as Matheno with Elihu? You know what I mean? So that's the purpose, you know, to bring forth that special degree, you know, because the great God Allah obliged it in the prophet, and we just doing our work, a part and partial of the whole. And it's an honor to be here with you Moors and stand upon the shoulders of giants, because you too will look in the circle 7 and find your purpose. And this is what will give definition to our lives, so to speak. You know, this is what we call a clear conception of the work that we call to do. And what they say, they used to sing it in it, it's a little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. You know what I mean? Little did we know, you know, that was just talking about being the God that you are, you know, because you're a light being. And so we give honors because we here to do our job in the sacred groves. And there's many other Moors who have work to do. And mashallah, you know, everybody add on to the work, and we continue to build this pyramid, you know, of the temple of perfected man. So we just say gratitude, Moors, for everything you do and what you will do. I think I seen our sister Curta Bay raise her hand again. I think we done stirred her up over there. What you ask, Sister Curta Bay?
Islam, Islam. You know, you got me stirred up over here. You know, I get stirred up all the time. Listen to my Moshkin teach this, teaching me about my prophet and everything that he brought. And as always, you know, I give you honors. I give all my brothers and sisters honors for helping me. You know, because like I said, I'm still learning to do the computer and stuff. And learning these alphabets, it's just amazing. I'm still pinching myself to know that God chose me to be a part of this, because this is to be a part of something. To me, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but this is also, I don't understand why everybody is not interested, or why everybody don't want this teaching. And like you say, it's a sin to not to want to know. I mean, ever since I can remember, I always had questions when I was in the church. I always had questions. I wanted to know. I was seeking. I wanted to know. I was seeking. I wanted to know. It's just been a part of me, and to be a part of this government and to sit up under you all, especially you, brother Shahid. I tell you, God, man, you just don't know how much an honor it is for me to be able to sit up under you, listen to you. I mean, and you break it down. You make it so simple that my grandchildren can understand it, and yet you have it so where if I was a Ivy League professor, he still can get something from it, you know. So that's what a great teacher is all about. You can teach the young, and you can teach the old, you can teach the well-educated, you can teach the non-educated. I mean, you just break it down. And I don't know why I'm so amazed at how these Europeans, I should have known, you know, they took our language and reading, and the readings you tell us to read, like Mustafa Gatala, his book, and just learning, and like you pointed out to us, and it just really, I think it just really started to hit me what you was actually saying, that even though they call it demonic, they call it heretic, they call it Coptic, and all of that, that's our language. They got it from us. That's what the European called this. We didn't call it that. That's what they did, because number one, they was in power at the time, and we know what we did. We messed up, and we know that was a divine punishment of the great God Allah. But it just amazed me, you know, how they did things, but how they thought we weren't gonna never find out. But see, great God Allah had a different plan. It was like, oh, they thought they had us. They thought they had us buried, and they thought we would never wake back up. But the great God Allah said, oh no, yeah, they coming out of there. It was just a season that we had to go through, and I'm just so excited. And like I say, I love y'all. Gratitude to all of y'all. And I wanted to ask you about that. The second script, the first script, Brother Edwards Bay, he sent it to me, and that was real good. Like the goddess, my secretary, National Grand Secretary of State, was saying, you know, she had sent me the 2 parts, because I know I didn't know how to get it off of the recording, and so Brother Edwards Bay had a whole one that he put together, and I was able to go pull that up and then blow it up, because the more I blew it up, I could see it more better, and show, and like she was saying, I mean, I was going through, I was seeing all the different letters there. I said, oh, there it is again. There it is again. There it is again. And I'm getting excited. I thought I had me a word there one time, but it just fell out to nothing as of yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. And then that other script you had sent, I think Brother Batibe, he put it up. Was that the German script? The second one, I think that was the German script. Now, I didn't even look at that one, because I was so focused on the first one that you did. I didn't even get a chance to look at that. But as he was pulling that up, I saw some things in there. I said, oh, I know what that is. I know that alphabet. So I got to go back. Well, I don't know if you want us to go into that one and pick out some alphabets, pick out the alphabets on that one too. If so, then I'm excited about, because I saw some things in there that I recognize. So gratitude, God, man, for all that you do. And like you say, I always have to give you your honors. I like to give people their honors while they can hear me, you know. And so gratitude, we love y'all. We gratitude to all my family who helped me out so much, and Islam. Gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
Islam and gratitude, peace and love, sister. Well, I can tell you this right here. See, our teaching tell us the Prince of Peace must first be the Prince of Strife. In other words, one has to stir up the ethers. And we stirred up the ethers by creating this apparatus, Moorish King. You know, because remember, this was an apparatus for the executive rulers, you know, to come forth so they can take these lessons and teach them back in their consulate. That's the whole key. And that's why we put it out there, so it can also be founded as our educational springboard, so to speak, when it comes to teaching our people. But also, many are called, but few are chosen. And that is proven by those who have stood and endured. You know, their Bactrian beast was well saddled and equipped for the journey along the way. And that's why you are here right now. Every last one of you. And I keep telling you, you're going to be rewarded for this. You know, and we don't want to hear nothing from nobody else. Why I ain't getting this, that, there. You know, well, those who were faithful were on the manifest. So they will be adorned with those things that represent the faithful. You know what I mean? And it shows who studies or who loves to study as opposed to who don't like to study. See, this demonstration here separate the wheat from the chaff. It's all right now to talk about the studying or whatever, but when it's talking about getting in the nitty gritty, oh, this demonstration right here bring it right to the manifest, which tells us that some of our people just like receiving things in what they hear, the microwave way. They don't want to do the work. And the prophet say he needs strong Moors. So we need Moors that's going to vet the source. We need Moors that's going to research, that's going to be what they know, as opposed to what they told. See, a lot of Moors like to quote that. You know what I mean? Be what you know and not what you're told. But when it come down time to do that, man, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, man, I got work. I got, you know, and that's the problem. Like I say, I run into most of the time right here in the city. You start out with 12 individuals. The next thing you know, oh man, I ain't gonna be able to make it today, bro. I got something to attend. Okay, that's all good. Nothing wrong with that, brother. Then yeah, bro, I got to go chase, you know, this situation. And then next thing you know, ones fall off. You don't see nobody. Think about how many people was here in the beginning and how many people are here right now. You see what I'm saying? And so again, this shows the faithful. I don't say that ones ain't here ain't faithful as far as dealing with being part and parcel of the government or none of that. But I'm saying this shows those who would go the extra mile to save their people, to teach their people. Well, some people feel like, what's the purpose of this? You know, see, the ego will tell you, what is the purpose of this, right? We got the Book of Fire, we got the Exhuming of a Nation, and even that, we want to parrot what's being said, but we don't want to go do the research. So if you get out there and you're dealing with other people, you know what I mean? And all you know is what you were told, and you haven't did the research, you're going to be looking crazy because most of your antagonists, we talked about them last night, sharp antagonists, they're going to come at you from a level that you have no knowledge of. But they can't come at us like that, because when they come at us like that right there, we simply set the truth out there. And now it draws all men onto the Moorish American government, because they see these people over here ain't playing. And that's why right now we can go and do a class, you know, like I got to finish the other foes, the other two foes. You know, I already know the Moors outside of the government gonna tune in. It be MST of A Moors be tuning in, you know, giving honors and everything. So, and we just dropping it like it is and keeping it moving. And instructing, we ain't getting into the doctrinal differences or whatever. And the line is laying down with the land. You know, so all of these things has to do with us creating the methodology by which we are able to reach our people. And Sister Curta Bay, you couldn't have said it better. The reason why we are able to demonstrate at different levels is because that's what I've really practiced and studied my whole way along. How can I deal with the learn and the unlearn? Then I say, well, I got to deal with the measure, recognizing first and foremost, you ain't gonna retain everything it is that you hear through the measure. Not at one time. Sometimes you go back and listen and you hear more. But I got to speak to the elite, you know, minds, as well as those who are not yet unfoldment. So everybody can have a portion. And I got that from one simple statement where I was reading Muhammad ibn Abdullah. It was said that he spoke the language of different ages, many different ages. You see, now we can look at that in the form of, you know, ages as far as being, you know, to the babies all the way up to those who are mature or middle age. Or we can also look at that as the teachings that come throughout the ages, you know, speaking the language of many different ages, you know. So that's how we have to be. That's more science. We can't be calling ourselves gods and we demonstrate more science and we get out there and we let an NBC beat us up. Talking about they atheists or whatever. And that will happen if we don't study, fam. That's all. Prophet told us to study. You know, so and we already know one learned Muslim, you know, brings a whole lot of conflict, you know, to a devil in thought, so to speak. You know, that lower mindset, that antagonist. They can't deal with it, they can't take it. In most cases, they go to talking in tongues, and y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about, you know, no holy tongues neither, but they go to talking in tongues. So Islam, more, we give honors to you. We love you. Ain't nothing wrong with a little more humor. And man, this been a grand class. I know our family gonna be edified by it. They're gonna get some growth from it. And we're gonna put it out there into the manifest. And honors to you for being faithful, Moors. And we definitely almost there in the process, like I said, of getting ready to start building our, you know, lexicon, dictionary. You know, we seen it ain't no etymology. We gonna get some etymology measures out there too. You know, we want to have it where we got a whole, like Mustafa Gadala got all his books. We want to establish a whole library and volume, because this is what the Muslim did in the past. It's certain Muslim scholars, family. One man, like the brother Betty Uzman, Saeed Nursi, that you hear me talking to, that was comparable to our chairman, because he wrote his books in the Dismal Crypts, going against Darwinism. Man, this man got, if you ever seen a law library and how them books stacked up, that's how his volumes of book in what they call the Risale Nur collection is. Just stacked up, and all this is really going in opposition to atheism, how to disprove atheism, because he's seen that modern science was getting ready to come in. So his thing was coming forth and mastering a science to be able to explain the teachings, you know, of the Most High, you know, from a scientific perspective or a practical perspective. He's seen what science was getting ready to do, and so he tried to rebut that, and he did it well too. That was his purpose, though. You know, so yeah, we want to have our volumes of books like that as well in our library, where our people ain't got to go back to E. Wallace Budge. They ain't got to go back to the stuff that we dealing with now, you know, only reference points, but they will go into the essence of dealing with right there, the books that have, you know, the name of the Moorish American government on it. You know, here it is right here. This is your best source. And we'll be pointing out, you know, all of these pitfalls, because that's what they are. These are pitfalls of human knowledge, you know, that we see among our people. And that's what causes the insufficiency of knowledge, because you ain't got nothing to stand upon. A pitfall is an abyss. You know, what is there that you can gain from that weak source? So we give honors to you, Moorish kin. We ain't gonna hold you no longer. We're gonna close this demonstration at the normal time. And we know the Moors got to be to their affairs. And we definitely be seeing you Moors on Sunday school. with that, we can actually take this demonstration in the third heaven. I don't know if our brother
Islam.
Ray Simpson Bay. Oh, there you go, brother. Islam.
Were you done, Sister Grand Sheik?
Oh yeah, I was done. I was actually calling you forth, to give your measure if you wanted to before we close out.
Oh, well, I always gotta give all honors to everything that is Moorish. All praise be to our Father God Allah, honors to our Holy Prophet Noble Ali for bringing us everything that it takes to save us as a nation. Now we're taking it to save ourselves, and also we're taking it to save our Moorish kings as we go to and fro. As we go coast to coast and north to south, just everlasting gospel being spreaded. And we just give honors is due for another grand ears class here, sponsored by the Moorish American government. And we give honors to all the Moors who brought forth their grand measures, because, it's just an honor and a blessing to be able to think and be home in our Moorish American government and just to learn Islam and gratitude for all that you do, grand man. Islam. Let's go ahead and close out. January 15th, a wonder from the prophet, to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes or on the streets. We offer peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We offer love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Holy Covenant, chapter 25, Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. Go in peace, mighty Moors, and we'll see you at Sunday school. Islam. This meeting has been closed according to Act 2 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, grand class, gratitude.
Islam.
Act one. Great class, Dr.
Grand
Shaheed.
message, Moors.
Peace and love,
Grand
Moorish
message.
Ken.
We love you
Peace and love.
more.
Grand
Islam,
class,
Moors,
Moors.
we
Georgia
love you,
Consulate.
Moors.
Great class.
Grand
See you in
All
Sunday
you
school.
Moors. Appreciate you.
Grand See you in Sunday school, Moors. We love you.
Right.
Sir,
Sunday school.
Love.
Islam.
right there, flying
Way
colors.
to raise them ethers up, Moors.
Red, black, and green.
Oh.
Islam.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Love.